What's up, everybody? You are watching another episode of the Iron Obsession podcast. Today, I am joined by Madisyn Vieira, NPC super heavyweight competitor, and we're just going to kind of get to know each other. This is our first time talking, and just talk bodybuilding after that. So, what? First off, nice to meet you. Second
Nice
of
to
all,
meet you as well, man.
what? So just give us some background. Where are you from? What do you do? How many times you competed? Just the basics.
So I'm from like Roanoke, Virginia, Smith Mountain Lake area. Lived here my entire life, so grown up here. Just kind of recently found bodybuilding. I actually started out like the fitness journey just from an overweight, lazy, got super out of shape. Didn't train, wasn't hitting the gym all through my 20s. So I was like 26. I was like, man, I got to do something. I was up at like 320 pounds or
Oh
something,
wow.
just sloppy, dude,
Oh,
not
and
not doing anything.
how tall are you and how old are you, by the way? Because I know you're a super heavy guy. Like your off
Yeah,
season,
I'm
you're like 270 or something, right?
yeah, my this past off season I got up to 284 was like the heaviest, and it was looking a little fluffy, so I was like, let's pull back a little bit here.
That's
This is good. This is good.
that's still crazy though.
But yeah, I'm 6'1". Right now I'm like 253 in the morning. So yeah, that's so I'm also a father of three. I have two stepdaughters, and then I have one daughter of my own as well. But
That's awesome.
I love them all the same, so they're my world. And then my wife as well. They're all a huge part of this bodybuilding journey because they essentially were with me when I first discovered it. So it's
Yeah.
been kind of cool to like grow and evolve within bodybuilding, but then have them, there along my side the whole way for sure. So, but yeah, man, that's about me in a nutshell. Other than that, what else do I do? I do, so I do like water installation for like main water line tie-ins essentially. So we'll do like, big subdivisions and things like that, and then tie into the city water. So a lot of excavation work and
Okay.
pipe laying and stuff like that.
So
That's the
you're
nine
out
to
in the
five.
heat. You're out in the heat working
Yeah, dude,
hard.
I'm freaking busting balls all day, and then I have a coach on the side, and then
Yep.
the bodybuilding journey as well. So pretty busy all the time.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially with kids alone. That's a job for some people right there.
Oh, dude, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's a full time job in itself.
Yeah, I'm only 25, so that's not in the picture for me yet. But I would like that to be a thing one day. You see a lot of competitors now, like a lot of high level competitors. Hunter Labrada, um, uh, other names are escaping me. Hunter's always been the one that has come in my mind, where
Got
they'll win a
Derek
show.
and
Yeah,
Regan,
there you go. Yeah,
and they all,
and
yeah, dude,
Sean
they're
Clarita.
all
Yeah,
Sean Clarita, man. Yeah, all these guys have kids and still are doing it at the highest level. So
and it's
I have a
always
ton of
so
respect for those
cool.
guys.
It's always so cool to me to see like when they win a show or something, how the kid just runs up on stage, jumps in their arms. I think that's so beautiful, man.
Yeah,
It's such a great experience.
so proud of their parent, man. It's so
Yeah.
cool, man.
Because imagine if you were like 5 years old or something, 6 years old, and you see your dad on stage, and like you see He Man on Sunday morning or Saturday morning cartoons. Like your dad is a superhero at that point.
Oh, dude, absolutely. And that's some of the coolest stuff, honestly. Like the responses that I get from my kids is like they'll see me posing or something, then they'll start posing and they're like, man, your muscles are so big and stuff like that. And then like they're hitting the most muscular with me. And I'm like, dude, this is like nothing better than that. That's
That's
just sharing that
success.
experience together.
Yeah, that is true success right there. Like
Absolutely,
I
man.
think most guys will take that over $1 million in the bank any
Absolutely, dude.
money solves almost any problem, but it doesn't create true happiness like that.
Yeah, 100%, man. You got to find that within, and then with the people that you love and the people that are in your corner. Essentially, man. That's what it's all about for sure.
Yeah. So you said you essentially started the journey around 26. How old are you now?
I'm 30 now,
Okay, so
so
about 4 years of
it's
bodybuilding experience. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
You got a
yeah.
very which it's always different because like so for me example I started when I was 15 working out and then really got more in the bodybuilding over the past probably 3 4 years as well, similar with you there. It's interesting
hmm
to see someone that starts out at that young age versus someone that starts out later in life. It's kind of interesting how it seems to be after 4 or 5 years we still kind of end up at similar roads, right? It's like the
Yeah,
people that are supposed to do it are going to find their way to it regardless on if it's when they're young or when they're older. If it's meant for you, it's meant.
Yeah, 100%. And I've kind of started thinking it's like it's a lot of like that drive and that mindset. I think that we all are instilled with. Like you got to be a little bit kind of
A little
crazy.
crazy.
It seems to want to do it, and so I feel like we all kind of find it, and then it's just like being able to dig to that next level to really like push yourself every day in the gym and fall in love with that process, man. Some people have it, and then some people are content with just going and kind of dinging around on the weights every day in the gym and not seeing that progress where you know like yourself, I'm sure that was not acceptable for you. You're like, no, I want to make a change. I want to see myself get bigger. I want to progress. I want to get leaner.
Yeah.
So
It's different though because with me, training has always been the hardest part of this. It's always been the part that I love the most, but it's also been the hardest part for me to really nail down. And it's really relevant because today I actually took a rest day. I normally don't take rest days on Tuesdays. For years, it's been every Thursday, every Sunday. Or a little further back, when I really didn't know what I was doing, it would just be every Sunday. And I trained 6 days a week.
6 days a week.
Yeah. I don't know how I was able to do that. Well, I do know how I was able to do that because what I'm about to get into is up until recently, I don't think I have ever truly trained hard enough to like actually notice fatigue. You know how
Got you.
all these kids on TikTok are like about fatigue management and all this other bullshit when they're
Yeah.
110 pounds? It makes no
Yeah,
sense.
like, dude, you're not. There's no way you can even create that much force to like be
Yeah.
fatigued yet.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
had I've been hitting legs pretty hard here, and I switched coaching about 8 or 9 weeks ago to Joseph Percher, and he kind of took my
dude,
whole training and 180'd it in a great
I
direction.
just inquired with him about.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm like 4 weeks out, so
Oh,
I inquired with him about rebounding.
you
Getting
mean
on board with him
your 4 weeks
and doing
post
my
show or 4 weeks out?
no 4 weeks out for my next show.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be a great thing to do, man. He's a great guy. I got nothing but great things to say about him. He was helping me a lot for free before I even got with him, just because of the whole situation I was in. But yeah, my whole training got flipped over, and I had always been a really high volume trainer, like 30, 40, 50 sets per workout. Yeah,
dude, that's a
and
lot.
yeah, but the thing is, when you train with that many sets, you don't realize you kind of have these governors in your mind, whether you realize they're there or not. And
Yeah,
once I got less sets, and I'm the type of person where if I'm on a plan, I'm going to follow it to the T. If this says 4 sets, 3 sets, 2 sets, I'm doing exactly how many it says. I'm not doing any more, I'm not doing any less. So that kind of forced me to take those sets a bit further than I would on my own. And I posted some videos on my Instagram story. I was so exhausted that I didn't even bother to do a reel or caption or anything like that. And then he replies to me, this is kind of turned into, on my hack squat specifically, this is kind of turned into a collection of singles. We want to have these reps be more fluent and, more piston reps basically. And I
yeah, no stopping
responded,
at the top and
yeah,
stuff.
which I don't normally do, but him bringing that up caused me to realize, you know what, I've been feeling this and that. I should probably tell him. I'm like, yeah, I have 2 sets of adduction machine, 3 sets of leg extensions, then I do leg press, then I do hack squat. Um, by the second or third set of my leg extensions, I was completely destroyed. Like I think I got 30 reps because it's a set of 20 plus 3 times. I think I got
Yeah,
30 reps on my first set, 20 on my second. I got like 12 on my third, and that was full effort the whole way. No crazy weight or
pushing.
anything. Weight stayed the same. So I mentioned that to him, and then I also mentioned how my sleep had been starting to get a bit bad, and because I've never trained this hard, I didn't put two and two together that, oh, your CNS is destroyed. You've trained yourself, because I'm in a cruise phase right now. This is the first time in my life where I think I've actually noticed a recovery difference in cruise, because my training requires that extra recovery that's not there right now.
Yeah,
So it's just,
100%.
yeah, it's almost like some people are, like you said, not going to take a certain level of putting intensity to the side, right? Some people are born to be a bit more intense, but then some of us kind of learn things in an incorrect way or not the best way for that. So we kind of have to find our way back to that intensity. Because when I first
Yeah,
started out, yeah, I was taking everything to failure to the point I couldn't move. But then subconsciously, you keep adding sets and giving yourself reasons to not do that, all for the sake
yeah,
of what you think is the right thing to be doing at that time.
yeah, 100%. I kind of started out the same way, just super, I guess, maybe not 40 or 50 working sets, but it was extremely high volume. a lot like lower weight and just super crazy amounts of sets. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Arnold Encyclopedia,
Yep.
but I had that for like, I was doing like chest and back together, like crazy amounts of sets on everything, which I mean, for when I was natural, it kind of, helped jumpstart things
Yeah.
and get things going. But then I started working with, I don't know if you know
Yeah.
Colton Lukes or Coach
Yeah,
Colton
I've
on YouTube.
actually I've had a phone call one time with him before. I don't remember what it was. I think he was doing like some raffle and I won like a contest or something. We got on the
Nice.
phone and we chatted about business, social media, a whole bunch of stuff. He's a great dude.
Dude, he's awesome, man. He helped me a lot. He coached me for my first show, and
Nice.
yeah, dude, he really like dialed in my training, like programming, kind of similar to what you were saying, like 2 to 3 working sets. Some smaller body parts might be 4,
Mhm.
but that's the max for working sets, and then it's all about just like moving that maximal load
Yep.
for each set, even if that means that the reps are coming down a little bit. And then the only time I really adjust the weight now is like contest prep. I might pull the weight down a little bit, like here at the end, like 4 weeks out. You know, estrogen is a little lower, things are a
Oh yeah.
little drier. So, I'll lighten the weight and maybe increase a couple sets just to get that extra stimulus.
Yeah.
I feel like that's helped a little bit. I kind of picked that up from watching Nick Walker. He's been talking about how he's increased his volume a little bit and not necessarily focus on the weight, just specifically in the contest prep time.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that's kind of helped, but off season time, I feel like really pushing those max effort sets with a little bit lower volume, like 2 to 3 working sets on each movement. Dude, I feel like that helped me grow so much just from when I started working with Colton all the way through my rebound and after that show. And that's still the same training program that I use now. So I feel like that's helped a lot, man.
Yeah, one of
Really monitoring volume.
one of my big problems back there in terms of volume, why I would do so many sets is, um, I noticed you mentioned Arnold's Encyclopedia. For me, I liked Arnold, but my big influence growing up was Jay Cutler. So,
Oh, dude, he's my all time favorite, man. That
yeah,
dude is a
Jay,
legend.
Jay Cutler has two principles: lots of angles and high volume. And
Yes.
what I interpreted that as a 15, 16-year-old kid is, okay, that means I have to do every back machine in my gym and I have to do at least 3 sets. So you get into doing high vol or way too high volume very quickly with that type of mentality. And I still think there's something to be said about hitting every angle of the muscle, like doing an incline bench, a flat bench, and maybe if someone has a really shitty chest like a D, something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like hitting all those angles. The OCD in me really likes checking off those boxes. But my training, I don't think it is kind of laid out that way now. Whatever I'm doing, I'm following the plan and I'm enjoying it. Honestly, just not having to think about programming for once in my life has been. You can just
That's
literally
awesome, man.
turn that brain off and just put in the
Yeah,
work.
and just go in there and train hard, just push yourself.
Yeah.
Do you do like push pull leg style
So
training?
so right now my split is normally it's going to be a bit different this week, obviously, because I took that additional rest day. Normally it is Mondays legs, Tuesdays push, Wednesdays pull, Thursdays rest, Fridays legs again, Saturday is arms and delts. And what that is
Nice.
basically just biceps, triceps, about 3 sets. I think it's 9 sets for bis, 9 sets for tris, 4 side raises, and then 2 rear delt exercises. And,
Nice.
and mind you,
Okay.
before this, I was doing about that amount of volume for arms, maybe like 3 or 4 sets more. But I've probably 3 or 4 days out of the week, I was doing at least 10, 15 sets for both sides and rear delts. And that made my
Nice.
shoulders, and this is a kind of related to the short that I put out earlier on, being complacent in progress, and just because something's working doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way. That was working for me, doing all that volume, especially in my arms and shoulders. It definitely was growing them, especially rear delts and side delts. But funnily enough, I switched over to this style of training where it's quite a bit less volume. I've only got 5 sets on push day for sides, I think 3 sets for rears on pull day, and then what I just listed for arm and delt day. That's the only shoulder volume I'm getting for the entire week. I think that's like 8 and 5 sets. And for whatever reason, shoulders are getting rounder and fuller. I guess maybe because they're actually recovering now.
That dude, that's interesting right
So like
there.
something can work, but something else can work much better.
Work better. Yeah. I think I might be finding myself in that situation right now, actually, because I like see a good, I guess you could say like a visual response from the. I like doing like I guess you could say like it's lower volume but higher rep sets. So
Yeah.
it's I've been kind of like
That's the
it's
same
been
boat.
kind of shifting to that as strength has went down a little bit. But then I might throw in like an extra set of these like really high rep, sets. And I feel like I don't know, maybe because I get that initial visual like
Yeah.
response. I'm like, oh man, my shoulders look super round. This is the only way to do it. I feel
Oh,
like that's the best
yeah.
way to do it. But then there's
I
obviously
think
better ways.
people that say the pump doesn't matter are full of it, man. It absolutely
Yeah.
matters. You're getting blood in there, which has nutrients, drugs, uh, uh, different vitamins, minerals. I mean, even your antioxidants probably are going to be transported through your blood into the muscle. I don't know what that does for us, but it's just a tidbit. Um, what does high rep mean to you? Because, so for example, on shoulders, and I think I mentioned it earlier, I did like 30 reps on leg extension. Legs, there would
Yeah.
be 20 reps, 30 reps. Rear delts, 30 reps, 25 reps. Kind of similar thing with side delts. What rep ranges are you kind of living in right now?
Same thing for legs. I really needed to bring my legs up big time, and I noticed switching to like 20 25 set or 20 25 rep
Yeah,
sets, even 30 sometimes, like on a leg press or a leg extension, just like smoke, basically just gassing yourself out,
yeah.
with rep work, and decent weight, 5 plates, 6 plates on the leg press or
Yeah.
whatever, and yes, just living in that rep range for the legs, I've noticed a lot more detail. They stay a lot fuller, easier. Like it's a lot harder for them to go flat when I'm doing a bunch of cardio and stuff. So it's interesting. And then like something like the chest responds so much better in the lower rep range where I'm pushing like 6 to 8 or something like that. So but I've noticed I guess you could say limbs respond really well to the higher reps. And
100%.
then it seems like torso is like torso and back, a little bit lower rep.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it seems like I
Hamstrings
respond
as
better that
well.
way.
I would say hamstrings are kind of a bit of lower rep body part as well.
Yeah, for sure. Getting like some heavy RDL work in
Yeah.
there.
Or
And
even
then,
just heavy leg curls, honestly.
yeah, heck yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
if you're inquiring with Joe, you're gonna adapt a lot better than I did. Your first week will be a bit easier because you're kind of already doing, from the sounds of it, some of that methodology. Most of my pressing work is in like I think the 6 to 12 range or 8 to 15. It's like a tricep press. Most of my
Yeah.
leg work is anywhere from 12 to 15. 8 to 15 would be like hamstring, and then like you said on the leg press extension, 20 to 30 reps. And man, those sets of 20 plus on the leg press, those are hell. But
Oh,
it's
dude, yeah,
great.
like just really slow and controlled, like
Yes.
squeezing all the way through. Yeah,
Oh yeah, and with the
they're
leg
almost harder
extensions.
than going heavy and like slinging, like
Oh yeah,
cranking out some heavy leg press. It's almost harder to go
I would say it
really
is.
slow and controlled, and like you got to stay locked in, man. That's a long set.
Yeah, and with
So
the
that
leg
takes a lot
extension,
of just mental fortitude.
the leg extension is by far the most like masochistic thing he has. So it's 20 plus reps, right? But the way he words it is a slow, deliberate, and painful negative. So you're extending with as much force you can possibly build. So you're just kicking shit out of it. Hold and squeeze for a good maybe 2 3 seconds, squeezing, contracting as hard as you can. Then on that negative, you're just controlling that shit as slow as you possibly can, and then explode. Hold, super slow. The sets take 3 4 minutes. It's absurd.
Yeah,
It's just
dude, those are
pain.
the whole time, and really focusing on that negative like that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those feel great.
It's almost
I
more
love that shit,
mentally.
man.
I do too now, but it's almost more mentally taxing than it is physical
It really is, man,
because you have
because
all these cues.
you could easily just be like, all right, I'm going to do 20 and just crank
Yes.
out. You're at 15, you could crank out 5 quick ones, but to stay locked in and be like, no, I'm locking in with these 3 4 second negatives.
Yeah.
You got to stay really on top of yourself.
Exactly, and it's like there are these cues you have to keep track of to actually do the movement correctly, especially if you're not like a very naturally athletic person who they can just move their body well. I'm not one of those people, so I'm having to think. All right, kick with as much force, aggressive effort, hold and squeeze for as long as you can, slow or negative. So I'm having to do that, and I'm having to count my reps, and I'm having to make sure that my tempo stays the same while remembering those cues. So, now being about 8 9 weeks into it, it's become a bit more on autopilot. But at first, I would have a headache after a set just from the amount of focus I was having. It was
You're
insane.
locked in, like
Yeah.
counting your negative,
Yep.
making sure you're hitting all your cues for sure,
And then I
man.
found the cheat code to that was just record, so you don't have to count.
Yeah, that helps a lot too.
Yeah, but then
I've
that got me to a
honestly,
bad habit though, because then I'd be on like rep 10 and I think I'm on rep 20, but
I've honestly, I count, I guess you could say, but it's almost like off of feel. Like I know I'm going to be in like fall somewhere in this 15 to 20 rep range, and I try to just like almost squeeze and like literally just kind of flex until I can't anymore. Really just slow, controlled flexes all the way through. Because I used to kind of um, crank it up and then let the negative be a little bit quicker and things like that, and just really focus on like pushing, and like you said, now really just focusing on that long negative count. It makes a huge
yeah,
difference, man. I feel
I
like,
mean, that's training like a bodybuilder and not training
yeah,
like a weightlifter. And that was the hardest thing
exactly.
for me to realize. It's taken me 10 years of training to get that down. And you would think it
100%.
wouldn't be that, it's not rocket science. It makes sense, right? Like most good bodybuilders train a certain way for a reason. But we come up with all these excuses. It's like, oh, that's not how they put on all their muscle, or oh, Ronnie did this, so we can do that clearly because he's definitely a human being and not an alien from Mars.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that dude was a freaking freak of nature, man.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of Ronnie Coleman, I'm sure he's probably in the list. Who were some of like your, we mentioned Jay Cutlerman and Ronnie Coleman, Arnold. Who are some of your, I don't know if I would say biggest influences per se, but like just your favorite physiques of all time?
Dude, I would have to say definitely Jay Cutler is up there. That's probably one. Like some of his earlier looks where he wasn't quite as big, he
I
was a
like
little bit
'01.
smaller. Yeah, I think that was the one. And then even I'd have to see him side by side, dude. I got prep brain right now
Oh
so
yeah,
bad,
yeah,
but
no worries.
dude, but yeah, some of those smaller looks that he had where he was just, I mean, shredded to the bone. I think that was like some of the craziest looks ever. And then he's not an open bodybuilder, but man, Sebum's
Yeah,
got a crazy physique. I would have loved to see what he could have done in the open class. Just like the shape, dryness, you know, the the fucking damn drawing a
everything.
blank here.
I got you.
Yeah, dude,
The
literally,
detail, the
yeah,
shape, the separation. Like a lot of people
the
don't
condition is just
understand.
insane,
Yeah,
man.
a lot of people
Yeah,
don't understand what set Sebum apart from the rest of that class and why he was so dominant. I believe nobody even ever scored a point on him once he started his reign, except for Sommerfeld at this last Olympia. But basically, the reason for that, in my mind at least, was honestly just his silhouette. Like
yeah,
you know how you see the black outline of somebody. They would sometimes at Olympia, like they'll shine a light through the curtain. You'll see the silhouette. I think that was mainly what set him apart. Like just this frame that he created was so symmetrical and perfect for the standard of that division. So it was very
100%.
insane.
Yeah, yeah, because he's not like you could put him up next to an open guy and like
Yeah,
front shots. He's going to be very comparable to them just because he does have that silhouette and that width. But then
yeah,
turn him to the side, that you can see he's not quite as dense. But man, he's got like that Flex Wheeler kind of physique where
oh
it,
yeah,
it it looks great up even next to the big guys, man. So I definitely respect that physique.
yeah. And
And
speaking of
like, let's
divisions,
see, Sean Roden, he's another guy I
yes,
really like. I really like the more shapely guys. Obviously, I love the mass monsters and freaks, but there's something about the shapely physiques as well, man. I
oh
really
yeah,
appreciate it.
and it's a good era for that. I think it's this weekend is the Olympia, right? We're gonna
Yeah,
see Andrew Jacked. We're gonna see Samson Dowda, Beirut Tabani, someone we thought we'd never see the Olympia. See,
dude, I'm so hype. He's getting to come over, man. I'm so that it's going to be
yeah,
insane. Finally, after like 4 years,
yeah,
he's getting to actually get on stage.
and then you got Regan Grimes, you got Urs, you got I would say Martin isn't like a tall dude like the rest of these guys, but he is very shapely.
Yeah,
Those are kind of like all those guys I just listed off. They're all shape guys. They're all, or the other than maybe like Martin, they're all pretty tall, pretty big, and for the most part, compared to Samson, I think this is gonna be his best showing ever. He looks like he's going to be leaner than ever. Oh, Quentin is another one. He's not going to be at the Olympics. That's another really
yeah,
really
he's
tall bodybuilder.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. I'm excited to see what Samson looks like too, man. That guest posing that he had, he was absolutely that was the leanest I
Yeah.
think I've ever seen him.
I'm a Nick
Even,
Walker
compared
diehard
to
though.
past Olympias. Oh, dude, I was just watching him before we hopped on here. I was watching his training video with him and Kyle Wilkes, and yeah, dude, he's turning into just a mutant. Absolute, he
Literal
literally
mutant.
is. He's the mutant now for real.
With
Like
the
he
shaved
is.
head, man. He looks like a super mutant from
Dude,
Fallout.
he does, dude. It's insane, man. I'm pumped to see him on stage finally too. He missed two, so it's gonna be cool to see him this year.
Yeah, and speaking of the different divisions with CBum there, so you are 6'1". Are you closer to 6'1" or 6'2"?
I would say I'm closer probably now to the 6'1". As I've, just from training and things like that, I feel like I'm a little closer to 6'1". But
Okay.
in high school, they used to say I was 6'2", but I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way. And
Oh,
then
same
last
thing.
time I got heighted in, I'm
Yeah.
6'1". So
I used to call myself 5'11" all the time, and then when I weighed in at my first show, because I did classics for these first two shows that I've done, they heighted me in at 5'10". I was like, okay. And then this most recent one where I got in better condition, they heighted me in at 5'9".
oh
So
my gosh, so you had to
yeah,
get even more peeled to
yeah, yeah.
because your weight cap would have dropped, right?
Yeah. I don't think I'm actually not sure. I think my weight cap for 5'9" was 202, so I competed at 197. I think I still would have been okay.
Okay, heck yeah.
Something like that. I think it's something like that. But yeah, I spilt over a bit, unfortunately, so I didn't end up looking on stage as lean as I actually was. But yeah, that's definitely the leanest I've ever been. Like fat pads you have on the bottom of your feet were gone.
You're just feeling all bone action
Oh
every
yeah,
step you take. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a fun feeling, man.
I was bringing that up to say I'm sure you've probably had a million people tell you like, oh, you're tall, do classic. Like, what do you think about that division as a competitor? Because I'm guessing you probably can't
Honestly,
even make weight for it though, can you?
dude, I tried. I tried my first show, and literally, I was like a dehydrated, sucked down, diuretic. 231 was like the lowest I could get. My weight cap is like 227.
Oh yeah,
So I'm like,
nobody.
I could get there, but I don't know how I would
Yeah,
even get this extra 4 or 5 pounds off.
yeah,
Um, so I would love to be able to actually fit in there, but I'm just too big. So I'm like, you know what, just take my time growing so I
yeah,
can keep a small waist, so I can keep, my proportions right
yeah,
and slowly grow into the open class. And I feel like
yeah.
I could make something shake eventually in a
Yeah, because
couple
that's what
years
I
or
was
so.
gonna bring up about it is I was gonna say you look like you would do really well in classic, but I know there's no way you're making that weight cap. Just like
Yeah, I wish they
too
would
much
raise
density.
it just a little bit and I could
Yeah,
probably suck down in there.
and that's the
But
thing too. Like if you are able to get a pro card here at some point, you would get an extra 10 pounds. Maybe that makes it doable. I'm not sure. For my situation, I stepped on stage at around 197 my last show. I think my weight cap is 202 if I'm not mistaken. So that would mean I would have basically 5 pounds to gain and gain anymore. 5 pounds of actual tissue. And
yeah,
I would assume if I were to cut down heaviest weight that I've seen so far this offseason, I plan on getting much heavier than this was 240. So I figure I could probably compete around 205 or so. I would personally just rather bring my best look. I don't want to try to make weight. I'd rather just bring
yeah,
my best look and be satisfied in that. Because I don't know about you, what level you're competing at, but me personally, I'm still at like the local level, state level. So winning a show doesn't really matter to me. I just want to keep doing shows so I get better at the skill of competing and
yeah.
can continue to
That
bring a better
stage time
look.
and
Yeah.
yeah, getting that stage time and like getting more comfortable up there and things like that,
Oh yeah.
man, for sure.
How many
I'm still right
shows?
there with you, dude.
Yeah. How many
That was
shows have
my
you done so far?
just one. So this will be
Oh,
my
okay.
second one coming up. So yeah, I'm right there with you,
Yeah,
brother.
that was a really good look for your first show. Then I'm gonna actually bring that up so people can see that.
Thank you, man. I
Is yeah,
appreciate that.
I would have guessed you had a couple shows under your belt. Right. So right here, I don't think you can see my screen, but everybody watch will be able to
Okay.
see. So right here, this is his first showing. Yeah,
And
and back
that
is
was the
diced.
Virginia. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Side leg is in really good shape. Yeah, I mean overall for like a first showing, this is great. It's a hell of a lot better than I looked at my first show. That's for sure.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Then we got this shot right here. This is a quarter turn, really good shot here. And then these are a bit more recent here. And you said you're 4 weeks out now. So this is 5 days ago. We'll just say 5 weeks out, basically.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're already, knocking on the door of that same condition or better. And you still got 5 more weeks or 4 more weeks to crank out conditioning.
Yeah, I would say when I'm like filled out right now, my condition right now is better than the last stage shots that I have, and my weight's up like I'm up like probably 10 pounds in total from April to now.
Yeah, and
As
honestly,
far
I'd
as just
say
like lean tissue.
yeah, and even if your weight does end up getting around the same, I wouldn't let that mess with your head because like the look is going to be so much different.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and that's kind of why I like the classic thing too, man, is because like you're perfecting that weight cap. So
Yeah,
you're maximizing that muscle. So I'm almost kind of trying to do that, but around that 250, 260 mark, just never get much heavier than that until it's
yeah,
absolutely necessary to. That way I can, get down to like 242 on stage and it looked pretty crazy.
yeah.
Um,
So
that's kind of the goal right now
so what
is
is
to suck down to that.
what is 242 for you? What's the significance of that number?
Um, there's no real significance. I'm just kind of
That's just like
guesstimating that's
okay, so
probably
that's just like okay,
yeah, I'm just guesstimating that's probably where I would look the best at right now. Maybe
okay,
245, somewhere in that range.
nice. Yeah, that's you're on schedule to have a pretty good show here. What's the name of the show you're doing?
It is the Elite Muscle Classic in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh, I was about to say that sounds like it's in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I was gonna potentially do that show if things had gone a bit different this year, or I was gonna do that one instead of the one that I did. So this is like I feel like I have prep brain. Like 6 months ago. Basically, it was one of the shows that I was looking to potentially do, but it was just too far away. I would have been in prep
Yeah.
forever. Oh, that would have been terrible. But so you're gonna
Yeah,
see Jordan Hutchinson there, I believe.
that was kind of one of my big reasons for picking it, man. I was like, oh, dude, I picked it in like August. I wasn't necessarily thinking about competing. I was just kind
Yeah.
of at the end of the rebound, and then I was like, man, that's pretty cool. He's guest posing down there, and then I was thinking, why not do one more show this year and then do an off season just to get a little bit more experience. So I just started dieting. Then once I saw it wasn't that far either from where I
Yeah.
live, so I was like, you know what, why not?
Yeah. So
It'd be
speaking
pretty
of
cool.
dieting for shows and doing more shows, things like that, what has your experience been with the post-show rebound? How has that been for you when you have because
Um,
you've done that one show? What was your rebound like?
It was awesome, dude. Honestly, the pumps, like the initial training, like right after the show, is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, can't even walk out of the gym. You're so pumped some days. It's insane. But progress wise, I would say I should have maybe not pushed the food so quickly, and I gained weight a little too fast, but I still put on a decent little amount
Yeah.
of tissue. I feel like through that time. But I just let myself get a little bit too heavy, a little bit too watery towards the end of that. But I mean, the first probably 6 weeks or so were really good. Then about the 8-10 week mark, I freaking
You held it
got
down
a
pretty
little
long there,
softer.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, it was honestly like just a mental thing. It was like I just kind of needed a break at that point. It
And I mean,
was
honestly, man, that being your first show, most people don't have 6 weeks of quality rebound their first show. Most
yeah,
people are off the rails like off the bat.
immediately. Yeah, they're
Immediately.
just like diving off the deep end.
Yeah, I kind of had the opposite problem with my second rebound here, and I think my first rebound was kind of similar, but I just didn't push things as hard in general then. I almost did not eat enough food on my. I call it my first rebound. I kind of almost had two from one show because I was so restrictive in my food. I stayed lean for so long. I actually I competed at 197, but I almost got leaner up until about the 210, 212 mark. And at about the 12 mark out or 12-week post show mark, I was between 212 and 215, and I actually had better lines in my glutes than I did on stage. But
Man,
I,
that's awesome right there.
well, it sounds awesome until you realize how terrible I felt 24/7. In the gym,
So
felt amazing. Outside of the gym, no energy, no libido, ill as a hornet, just not pleasant. Like I was still in contest prep. Like
you still were in prep basically at
and
that
not
point.
just contest prep. It felt like I was a week out for 12 weeks straight.
You were stringing yourself along that whole time, man.
Yeah. So then when I got with Joe, he bumped my calories up by about 1,000 or so, and I put on a lot of weight, but I still stayed pretty lean because of how restrictive I was. So I went from that 212 to 215 up to 230 and 240, and my weight was going to keep climbing, and then we finally kind of went into a cruise phase here and leveled out around 230.
Nice.
So
That's awesome, man.
the rebound, all that being said, rebound to me is my favorite time. Like that's another reason I just want to compete more frequently, just to catch more rebounds. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're great for progress. What's not to love?
Yeah, I feel like that's when I made the most progress, honestly. Like when I step back and look at it, that like initial probably 6 to 8 weeks, that's probably when I honestly put the most lean tissue on. Like body composition didn't change much, but the scale, kept moving up.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you, man. That was honestly kind of my mindset with this show as well. I was like, I might get put on a little size here and then get, a little leaner for this show, and then could potentially have an even better rebound, especially if I get with Joseph and we've got a game plan mapped out. I feel like that would be an ideal situation to set me up to, have a good showing next year at nationals.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the plan.
The kind of thing I would say there then is if you really want to maximize the rebound, it seems to me like to a degree, almost over dieting for prep and just getting stupid lean. It seems to be that's kind of like a good springboard to go into a rebound and then an off season. So like just the leaner you get, the drier, the crazy shredded, more of that you get. Basically, think of that as just the more moldability he has to be able to take that and just springboard you into an entirely different level. That's how it felt for me, at least.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what helped me with the last one is I held that condition my stage condition. I held that for probably going into that show. I was probably that lean for like 8 weeks or so.
Oh wow!
So just holding it that long, and I feel like there was a point I kind of started losing some tissue through that prep, especially in the legs. But I feel like you said, a little bit over dieted, and then that rebound effect was just crazy. But I want to perfect that and get better at it. I feel like that, first one, there was definitely some mistakes in there, so I could always be better for sure.
What was your
and maximize that?
What was your backstage experience like?
Sure. It was pretty chill. It wasn't. There was only like I think there were 6 competitors in bodybuilding for that show, and then there's obviously a ton of men's physique guys there. Probably like 8 or so classic guys. Everyone seemed pretty laid back. The backstage experience was pretty smoothly ran, organized. Everything was on time. Getting glazed and all that stuff. Everything seemed pretty smooth for the first show. But I don't have anything to compare that to, so
Yeah, so
I don't know how it normally goes.
That's how my first show went. There was a bit more an air of seriousness because it was technically the state championships. I think people were mean mugging a bit more. There were some really not great guys there, like myself, competing at 170 pounds that first show, and then there were some mammoths that were competing at probably 260. Not like national level conditioning, but good enough to win a state show. So it was a bit of an air of seriousness back there. I, of course, had no idea what to expect as well. But I would say, as far as, how the show was ran, timelines, things like that, it was pretty chill. And then, so I didn't really have an opportunity to make any mistakes at that first show. I think maybe I was like distracted and I was like 5 minutes late on texting my coach about something. Nothing crazy. The second show, it, of no one's fault but my own, I got in a really perplexing situation. So basically, a few of us had set up our bags close to the stage, right? Because, you ideally want to be as close to the stage as you can. So you can just prop your feet up, not have to walk a lot back and forth for stuff. Well, we did that, and we did not realize we were in the tanning area. So we had to all get our stuff and move.
Oh, man.
So, but the thing is, though, we didn't find that out until basically everybody had already sat down. What does that mean? There are no seats left. So we got to walk, crazy far other side of the building just to put our stuff down. And
just to have a chill spot.
Yeah, man, my legs were destroyed. I think I had like 8,000 steps that day.
Oh gosh, especially on show day, that's got to be terrible because you're already feeling rough. So
and there was no lighting in the place either. So to get good stage picture, or not stage picture, check-in pictures. I had to go outside to take them, and then the lighting was being really weird because the way the building was angled, it was a whole mess for me. But that's just me realizing I was not mad about that. Like the moment I stepped off stage, I was like, okay, this happened. If this didn't happen, I maybe could have moved up a place. But I'm a novice competitor, still learning. This is why me. And the moment I got off stage, I was like, this was great because I went from my first show, I placed dead last in everything I did, and then this second show here, I think I got third out of 4 people in bodybuilding, and I got second out of like 12 in classic novice, and I got third or fourth out of like 12 or 14 classic open. So a pretty big improvement in placings.
Yeah, that's a huge improvement, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So
Seriously.
between that and then the realization of, oh, I'm still, for lack of a better phrase, I'm still fucking shit up backstage. Just novice mistakes. I need to compete more often. I want to try to compete at least, once a year or so, once every other year at the absolute least. Because before that, I had a 2+ year off season, and that time away from the stage, I could definitely tell it.
Do you think that that was like productive, taking that long of an off season?
It was and it wasn't. So I've had a lot of time to think about this. My off season was not optimal by any reason. There was no growth in play. There was very, very low supplements in general. My training was shit. My diet was shit. It was the best training and diet I'd ever had at the time. But looking back at it retrospectively, I can see how bad it was. The higher volume training, like I was talking about, really bad execution, especially on things like legs. But that being said, I made really, really good progress for about a year and a half of that. And I would say my look continued. I almost recomped a bit, just because I was still pretty, even though my diet was bad, one day out of the week, I would pretty much eat whatever the hell I wanted. Those other 6 days out of the week were perfect and almost restrictive to a degree. Like my rest days would be like 0 carb. And I would have high carb days. Yeah, but I'd have like 1,000 carb day on Saturdays. Stuff like that.
That's good. Yeah, that probably kept you fairly tight, honestly, having that big of like a calorie fluctuation like that, for sure.
And I was also probably doing an hour or 2 of cardio a day. Who knows? Crazy shit to try to stay lean. And it worked.
Yeah.
But it was a lot more stressful than how I've learned how to do it now. Basically just not by eating like an asshole once a week.
Yeah, just taking all that excess calorie you'd have to burn. Go ahead and just take that out.
So that approach that I was doing for the 2 years there maybe would have continued to work, because I said it really worked for about a year and a half, maybe a year, because just mentally that last year to 6 months, I was spinning my wheels. I don't know what it was particularly that caused it, but I tend to not even say it, but I almost started to hate bodybuilding. I did not like how I looked. I did not like how I felt. Training was boring for the first time in my life. It was last 6 months for sure, maybe even the last year off season. But I think there's something to be said just for cycling through different phases of bodybuilding every so often, just so you don't get burnt out. And I think maybe now I am mature enough to where I could do a 2 year off season, but fuck that. I'm competing good.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it, man. Like, I know I need an off season. I feel like my whole fitness bodybuilding journey has been a diet. I've been, restricting calories the whole time. So I know I need an actual growth phase, but I feel like from coming from being just a former, overweight dude, I feel like as soon as I start seeing myself get fluffy, it plays in my head, and then I'm not that confident bodybuilder that I am when I'm lean. So I'm like, man, I need to find that happy medium where I can progress, but I'm also like happy looking in the mirror. I can post good content and be, confident with everything going on, because it does play a huge part. Just like the way you feel is going to affect your training and going to affect, your approach, your discipline, everything, man. So I've been trying to find that balance within that as well, every time I do have a chance to grow a little bit.
And a part of that is also, it's, you say letting yourself get too fluffy, right? Well, for some of us, that means we want to keep glute lines 24/7. Like we want to have cross striations in our quads 24/7, 365. But realistically, to put on muscle, you are going to have to get a bit fluffy. But what does that mean? That doesn't mean, losing your glute lines. Like, for we're looking at Fluffy as not having those glute lines, yet we still have striated arms and a six pack, right? Like
Yeah,
you're not
exactly.
fat, you know. You can
Yeah, the
see all
abs are
your
still
abs.
there, but you're like, oh god, I
Yeah,
feel like a fat slob. It's
it's about
mental,
having a
honestly. When you think
realistic.
about it, like,
Yeah,
yeah, compared to the rest of society, it's you're far beyond their
yeah.
condition. But like
We're calling
for
ourselves fat at 10-12% body fat. Like,
yeah, our standard is just so high. It's insane. But I love it, dude. It's the never ending obsession.
yeah, I grew up as a fat kid, so that's definitely always been a issue for me, and that's one of the reasons why I was okay with doing the longer off season was because it meant I got to eat more food. Appetite has never
Yeah.
been an issue for me. When me and Joe were pushing calories, I don't know the exact numbers, but if I had to guess, I'd say I was at like 6.1 thousand calories, like 400 something protein. It was definitely close to high eights, low 900 carbs, like 70, 80 fats. And
Oh, dude.
I was eating 7 meals a day, and I shit you not, I could have ate 10 meals. I could have ate
I
eight
bet
meals
you
a day.
were. I bet the training was insane
Oh, so good.
with that much food, dude. You were probably feeling like an animal in the gym.
Oh yeah, and it was a bit different though because I had to revamp my entire training style so much to where I wasn't necessarily pushing for progressive overload in terms of weight. I was getting
Yeah,
that progressive overload from my execution and
yeah,
you know focusing on negatives, things like that. But
yeah. The
I definitely still
changes.
get stronger without a
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah. I bet those pumps are crazy too, man.
Oh man, after the arm and delt day, it would be so bad sometimes I would not be able to practice my posing pose. Like I couldn't hold a pose.
Can't even hold the pose. Can't get your
Oh
arms
yeah.
in position or anything.
Do you know what I mean when I say it's the stair master model for cardio? It's not a stair stepper where where the steps go like this. It's one where you're pressing up and down on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
yeah, like your feet don't actually ever lift
Yes.
and take a step. It's just yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot what they're called. The
Stairmasters. Yeah.
no,
So that's my
I know
preferred
what you're
form of
talking about.
cardio because I have one at the gym that me and my dad own and operate, and then I also have that same exact model at my house. So that's my preferred form of cardio year round. Well, I was going to get on the stairmaster at the gym after doing arms and delts, and I had to physically like lay on the ground and like stretch out my arms before I could get on it, just because like how you're holding yourself up on it like this was too painful. I couldn't do it.
Couldn't hold on.
No, I couldn't hold on. I was like, I can't hold on to it, and my abs are gonna cramp if I try to stand on this thing without holding on the handles. Let me sit down for a little.
Just like think about what's actually going on in your body at that point. Like when you're
Yeah,
feeling that, it's like you gotta be just growing
yeah,
like in
man.
that moment for sure. It's like some magic's happening for sure when you're feeling
Yeah,
that crazy pump.
absolutely.
No, no,
I really
nothing like it,
don't.
man.
Yeah, I just don't believe how. I think what it is these people have never gotten a good pump in their lives. I don't know how somebody can experience that and then say, "Oh, it doesn't."
Yeah, that's not important at all. There's no
It's
way.
at the very least a sign that good things are happening. Like you said, with food being that high, you assume that the pump is going to be good, right? Why is that? Because you have all the proper nutrients, you have enough salt, you have a ton of carbohydrates fueling what you're doing. So the pump
Yeah,
at the very least is a sign that what you're doing is working.
100%, man. I agree. I agree. And I feel like the more that I have, tried not necessarily doing pump work, but, through my training, execution and things like that, the better I can perfect that, the crazier the pumps are and the better, the quicker the results do come, honestly. So there's got to be some correlation there for sure.
Absolutely. Um, how does cardio look like for you right now?
I'm doing 2 sessions. So I've been on leg days. I'll do 20 to 25 minutes in the morning, 20 to 25 minutes in the evening.
Okay.
All the other days, I've been doing 45 minutes morning, 45 minutes evening, just to save the legs a little bit for
Yeah.
leg days and recovery and things like that.
And what form of cardio for that?
I do spin bike.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've got a spin bike just sitting in the living room at the house. So I get up first thing in the morning and hop straight on that thing,
And do
get
you do
going.
any do you need hit with that, or is that all lists?
I try to just keep it all lists.
Okay.
Every now and then I'll do a couple sprints here and there.
Yeah.
I'm not like too particular about it, but I try not to go over like 120 beats per minute
Yeah.
for the majority of the session. But if I feel like I need to push a little bit, I might like ride for like 10 minutes at like 140 beats per minute or so through
Nothing
the
crazy though.
the duration. Yeah, it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah, that's nice. So you're in a pretty good spot there. That's it's definitely, that's a decent amount of cardio, but it's nothing crazy. It's not like you're doing 2 hour sessions twice a day. Like all things considered, you're in a pretty decent spot. And that
Yeah,
cardio will
yeah.
probably only get lower from here, I'd imagine.
I hope so. That's my that's my plan. So hopefully everything stays on track and I don't have to push it up any higher. I can taper it back a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to just increase steps a little bit as well,
Yes.
so I can scale it back, because I was doing hour sessions. So I've tapered it back to this point.
Dude, the
Increased the
steps are
steps to
huge.
15K. Yeah, there's so much like easier on your just everything, your CNS, everything. Just it's just a lot more chill. Like I'll just take the dog for a walk for 30 minutes, and that helps a lot, man,
Yeah, man.
for sure.
I don't know why, but I did not even really get into tracking my steps until probably 2 or 3 weeks out from prep, just because the previous coach I was with never mentioned anything about it. But I was watching, a lot of Joe's content, and I was especially watching the old podcast with Tommy Styles and Joe Sochperch. I don't know if you've seen that. It's called A
I
Thinking Man's
saw a
Podcast.
couple of the Yeah, I saw a
Oh,
couple
dude.
of those like a year or so ago. They
Yeah.
had quite a few of them together,
Dude,
didn't they?
I've watched every single one of those episodes like 2 or 3 times because I found it when I was in prep, I believe, or at the very least, like the real like start of rebound was when I kind of made. Yeah, they would
I need to
talk a
go
lot
watch
about.
those.
Oh yeah, for sure. But they would talk a lot about different things like that, and often counting steps would come up, and I was like, huh, I've never thought about doing that. Let's try that. And I added in keeping my steps at a baseline, and from there, weight loss just got so much easier. So now
Yeah,
going into a new prep, I'll be competing in August of 26. So we start prepping like March or something. He's got my entire year mapped out. That's another cool I've never had before. Starting with steps and all these other different things that I've kind of picked up along the way is going to make prep so much easier. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, for sure. I feel like it's just like a almost indirect like form of cardio that, and
Yeah,
you're going to burn so many calories even after you finish those steps. It's like the metabolic benefit that you get from it downstream is unmatched, man.
definitely.
I try to do that with all my clients as well. Like I'll put them on a baseline of like at least 10K
Oh yeah,
to
for
start,
sure.
and just keep them. If I can keep them there, it makes the dieting portion so much easier
Absolutely.
across the board for lifestyle competitors, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I honestly think if someone can't get 10,000 steps in a day, they're either terrible at tracking it or they're terrible at trying to move them.
Yeah, because you could probably get that in your house just staying on your feet, like just
Yeah,
moving around and just staying a little bit, being a little more mindful of being on your feet.
just 10-minute walks after meals.
That's
That's all it
another thing I
takes.
preach, dude.
Yeah,
Staying efforting, man. That helps so much with your blood glucose, man.
yeah.
And I tell people to just check it before you take that walk, and check it after. I guarantee you it'll be lower.
At least 20 points, if not lower,
Yeah, I agree, man.
depending on the
And
person.
people will never. Some people will like, oh, there's no way. They'll just never even give it a shot. But it's like, dude, if you would just try it, I mean, it'll
Yeah,
work. I promise
dude.
you.
That leads into another thing. So I think I got about 3, maybe 4 weeks left of my cruise health phase here, and then we're gonna push up for I think between 12, 13, 14 weeks, then another kind of cruise prep, right?
Like,
Once we start looking to enter that push phase again, I'm gonna get a CGM. Have you seen anything about that? What are your thoughts on the continuous glucose monitor?
I think they're great. My brother is actually type 1 diabetic, so I'm pretty familiar with it just from him using one. And then I saw Joseph's been using one as well. And I feel like just seeing your response to food real time like that
Yeah,
has got to be like some awesome data to have to just be able to apply to your plan. Cause then it's like, okay, your fasting glucose could be one thing in the morning, but then when you actually get those carbohydrates, how your body is utilizing them could be a totally different story. So,
yeah.
I think that's a great idea, man. I'd be interested to try one out myself, honestly.
Yeah, the only thing sucks is they're a little pricey. I think it's like 40 or 50 bucks for 2 weeks.
Okay, so what do you get like? You get like the cartridge or whatever, and then
Yeah,
that one thing lasts 2 weeks itself.
I'm not again. I've never used one, but I'm looking to use one here shortly in the next month
Okay,
or so. But the company is called Lingo, I believe, and it's
lingo.
essentially a CGM that is specifically made for non-diabetics. Because as having a brother with type 1, you would know that they have to prescribe those things.
Yeah,
So that's been the barrier to entry for a lot of people. But with the whole, I guess I would call it longevity, biohacking, whatever you want to call them, community, kind of the more normie side of things with like Andrew Huberman, etc. They're getting into stuff like this, so it's starting to become a more viable option for marketing stuff like that, to where everyone.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Because I feel like there are people that aren't full blown diabetic, but that have things that are leaning towards being a type 2 diabetic
Yeah,
eventually, or something like that that you could catch ahead of time with implementing that CGM, and you can
yeah,
make some lifestyle changes to really reverse some things.
for sure. And it sucks. Like if you're gonna do it the old-fashioned way and prick your finger, I mean, your fingertips are gonna get looking like baseball gloves here. It's not fun.
I'm kind of that's where I'm at right now. I just prick
Yeah,
mine every day to check it. I'm like, well,
yeah.
whatever.
And now pricking it one thing for your fasted sugars in the morning. That's one thing. But if you're trying to get postprandials, and then if you want to check it before your 10-minute walk, and you want to check it after your 10-minute, it's like, man, what are we doing? Or we got like 10 finger pricks here, and then
Yeah,
in a couple meal time period.
yeah, your fingers will be sore as hell at the end of the
Oh
day.
yeah. So the CGM is just going to make it to where that's not required. You just got a little app on your phone, and it'll tell you right now what your blood sugar. So I'm super interested to see like what my blood sugar does cardio specifically, and then while I'm training, because I'll check it after I'm done training. Sometimes it'll be like 70, 80, something like that. But I want to
Yeah,
see what it's like in the set. That'll be cool.
yeah. I didn't even think about that honestly. Like getting that, especially during cardio, seeing how
Oh yeah,
quickly it may go down. Or like that'd be interesting, man, for
yeah.
sure.
And maybe you could almost like kind of plot a trend of what is the most effective amount and intensity of cardio for you to do. Because let's say you get on the stairs, you get on the bike, and you're 10 minutes in and you're at this level of intensity and you see your glucose at a certain level. But then let's say maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, maybe your glucose actually starts to go up, not down. So then that could
Yeah,
say, okay, maybe I need to start to bump up the intensity at this mark because for whatever mechanism my body is getting used to it and not having to burn glycogen, something like that.
yeah.
And
That
that's
could
super
definitely.
overthinking, but it would just be cool to see.
It's another thing that you can apply though, man, and I'm sure it would work applying it that way for sure. Just being like, all right, I need to my blood sugar is at 106. Let me go ahead and crank the intensity up so I
Oh
can
yeah,
get this down to 80 real quick before I eat my next meal.
yeah, that'd
And
be a
then
really
you
good
can
way to go.
pick it up. Yeah, man, that's interesting. That's something I need to look into for sure. I've seen a few people doing it, and then of course my brother's he's always had to use one. So yeah, but I for bodybuilding purposes, that could definitely be a game changer.
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, you got to be a little crazy to get into this. It takes a certain
Yeah,
it takes a certain level of neuroticism to want to stick a glucose monitor on you as a healthy person just to see what happens, right?
yeah, just for your own experiments and shit.
Yeah, yeah. I think all bodybuilders, to a degree, kind of almost have to be like these mad scientists and people who love experimentation and just trying stuff out and see what happens. That's the funnest part
Yeah,
of bodybuilding to me. Is I love the stage. I had genuine, probably the best, in terms of like entertainment. Obviously, there are different life events that are important to me, but I had one of the best days of my life stepping on stage when the second show. It was so much fun. But I could completely abandon the stage. You give me an off season and then shred down to display that look. That's what I love about bodybuilding. It's the experimentation of those different phases, trying things in a prep or a cut, seeing what does what, trying things in an off season, same thing. And I love your backdrop there. To those listening, I have a very similar backdrop in my bathroom is where I do the check-ins. I've got that same exact sheet, those same clips that came with it for my
oh,
check-in setup.
the old Amazon special.
Yeah, man, that's the way to do it.
Can't beat it,
Who
dude.
needs any of these crazy expensive backdrops when you got that, right? A black sheet and some clip-ons.
Exactly. Exactly, man. I saw it and it was like $25. I was like,
Yep.
sign me
I think I might have even gotten it for cheaper than that. I might have got like the super Chinese brand.
up.
But yeah, I think the we're getting at an hour here. The last thing I want to go over for is kind of what you're looking to bring here in the next couple of weeks to your showing. What are some things that you think you've improved on from your first showing? Just your overall thoughts going into.
Yeah, definitely just want to bring a little bit. little bit bigger legs for sure. Well, I should say limbs altogether. I needed bigger
Okay.
arms, needed bigger legs, and better condition this time, and a little bit fuller look. I was pretty flat the last time on stage, but it was a good, a good flat, I guess you could say, because I was pretty
Yeah.
tight. But other than that, man, just want to go in and stay grateful the entire time. I've really tried to be mindful of
Nice.
that. This prep, it's like really practicing gratitude, giving back to the family, being present in my actual life while I'm prepping has made the world a difference, man. It's made it so much smoother. Where I feel like the last prep wasn't a bad thing, but it got kind of dark, man.
Yeah.
You know how you start getting super hungry and depleted and things like that. Not that I was an asshole or anything, but it was just I felt very removed from
Yeah.
life.
You feel kind of
Where
apathetic.
this time, yeah, I had like no sympathy or
Yeah.
emotion for anything. So, like you said, apathetic towards everything. Where this time I've just been super mindful of, being present with my faith and family,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. My community at the gym. So, um, yeah, man, just being present with all those people that mean a lot to me.
And that's definitely, I think that's the thing most competitors struggle with. Even if you progress your look from year to year, did you progress your mentality? Did you progress your ability to do the sport of bodybuilding and not have it affect everything outside of that? For me, I think it was a 20, it was either 21, 22, or 23 week prep for me. I don't remember which. I held it down pretty good up until about the 6 week out mark, and things started to get not great. At 5 to 4 weeks, things were bad. At 4 to show day, not great to be around. So, but for my first prep, I'd say that's probably how things were for almost the entire prep, and that was at least a 21 week prep again as well. So it's like, there's a little bit of a victory in there. You kind of felt like a normal person for this chunk of time where you didn't last time. So one of my main goals going into my next chunk here is just like, all right, I was good until 6 weeks out last time. Let's try to be that way until 4, 3. Can I hold on to my humanity until 3 weeks out? Let's see.
Dude, and that's a battle within itself. Like getting in shape, all the training, all the cardio, the meals, that's one thing, but keeping that mentality in a positive light and just, keeping a strong mindset all the way through, that's a battle in itself. So that's something I try, like you said, I'm trying to improve on as well. Like how far can I make it, and how well can I hold it together, when I might not be feeling the best, I might have zero energy. I got to still show up and perform at work. I need to still show up for my family and my kids. Yeah, man, that's a challenge in itself, but I love it, dude. It makes you a disciplined and just go get it, motherfucker. I gotta
Yeah.
say that for sure.
And on the topic of discipline, I think that's been the real difference that's kind of clicked for me. If you've been watching Joe's content lately, he kind of talks about how you're a bodybuilder year round. The off season is still contest prep. Well, I had always thought that, but then after seeing him relay that example on his YouTube and his prep through the rebound, things like that, kind of all started to really click with me. And I can say I've been in contest prep for over 40 weeks because I was in contest prep for 22 weeks or so. Then I was in contest prep for my entire rebound, which was 16 weeks. And it's, 4 or 5 weeks into a cruise here, I'm still in contest. The only difference is in the cruise, I have allowed myself to have a little bit of freedom with a off-plan meal once a week, which honestly, I don't even like taking them. I'm forcing myself to take them just so that it's kind of like a mental reprieve going into the future. But I do not
Yeah,
like taking free. That's still something I got to get better.
it's because you've been so dialed this whole time. You almost
Yeah,
feel like, is this
I don't want to
actually
lose
going to
that.
benefit me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I don't want to lose that
and
doubt feeling. It's great because my off season feels like a contest prep now, so it just feels like I can continuously roll over into this next phase, and contest prep will be a breeze.
just keep churning all the way through.
Yeah,
That's something I would love to work on, man. I feel like I haven't had a long term. I like how you have like literally your next year planned out. Like
yeah,
cruise until this point, and we're going to start an off season. Then I'm going to start my contest prep here. Um, I think that's super wise, man, for sure.
Yeah, I think planning is everything. I'm I'm super OCD. I mean, that's the reason the name of this podcast is called the Iron Obsession Podcast, because I am OCD as hell, like to a unhealthy degree sometimes. But it has its moments of positivity once you channel it into something like.
Oh yeah, for sure. In this game, that's a superpower, dude.
Yeah,
Because you're on top of all the details that are important.
yeah. As long as you have
All
a
the
good coach who you trust, it can be a superpower. If you have a not so great coach where they're not paying attention to you or something like that, it can be bad because then you're following a bad plan. And that's where my OCD got channeled into for a little bit there, unfortunately. But with having
you
Joe in
were
my corner and he, like I said, literally planned out my entire year, that tickles all the OCD spots in my brain perfectly. So it's been great. I think if you are looking to inquire with him, I could not recommend it enough. I think it's going to be a great decision to make.
Yeah, dude. I definitely just hearing just his knowledge and some of his approaches, and he's just a no nonsense kind of dude. It seems like. And then I've chatted with him a few times, just DMing back and forth. He's given me some advice just on the whim, me asking him questions and stuff. I'm like, man, that's a pretty solid dude. Like, you didn't owe me any explanation, any answer for anything, and you took the time out of your day to
Yeah.
say, hey, this is what I think about that, and maybe you should try this. So yeah, man, he seems like a great dude. And from what you're saying and how he's got your plan mapped out, and the progress you've made and pushing the food and things like that, man, I'm interested to see what y'all do together as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to competing in, and I'm looking forward to seeing your show here in the next couple of weeks. Definitely keep us updated with that. You've got you in the Discord, the group chat now for the podcast. So feel free to send us some updates, give us some sneak peeks, stuff like that.
Heck yeah, man, I definitely will, dude, for
Yeah,
sure.
this has been super fun. I think we're pretty close to an hour here. I actually did a good job of keeping track of time this time. So I think I'm gonna call it here, unless there's anything else you want to go over real quick.
Nah, man, I really appreciate you having me on, man. It was awesome chatting with
Yeah.
you, and I look forward to getting on here again with you sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. This is super fun. We might try because I've got some other people lined up too. We might try doing like this one really big panel one of these days and just having like 5, 6 guys. But if you watch the Fit Nation podcast, that's another podcast I'll watch. It can get hectic when there's that many people in a chat room.
Yeah, I've seen them. They'll get like 5, 6, 7 people on there. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
dope, but it's hard for everyone to get a word in when it's that many people.
Oh yeah, it'd be super easy
But
for me
I'd
as
be
a host
totally
though.
down.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it'd be
you
fun to
just
try it
sit
out
back.
once or twice, just see what happens. Because for me, I can just kind of like sit back here, look at my phone, update some clients, while all you guys just argue about who's gonna win the Olympia.
Yeah, I'd be totally down, dude. That'd be so fun.
Yeah, well, we'll talk off air about that. But yeah, this has been another episode of the Iron Obsession podcast. All the links to our socials will be in the description. Thank you for watching.